Kia ora everybody, Mr. G here. Just going to start up a little bit of a new segment on Seesaw for us all. I know that I've been missing this myself. Hopefully you have as well. But I went into school today, put my mask on, scanned in, did all my due diligence that I was supposed to do to go in there. We're allowed to go in by ourselves, teachers, and grab things. Checked on Bricky. He's been bored, but he's all right. So everything's still safe in class. He's been sort of running a bit of a ride in there in class, but apart from that, everything's safe and sound. He hasn't really gone through any windows or anything, tried to escape, which is good. Brickalina's been getting on his nerves, but he said love to you all, and he does miss you all. He's looking forward to those cuddles when he gets back to, when we get back to room 7, I should say. But I was in room 7 for this reason. I wanted to pick up this. The Mighty Holes. I wanted to do some reading to you through Seesaw. This is, as you know, but your parents probably don't, this is my favourite ever book to read to kids. And we're that far through already with that much to go. And I just figured, since we're in lockdown, we should try and smash this out. So I'm trying to record these little videos. We'll do it in segments. But this will be the first instalment of Mr. G reading. It's going to be strange for me, not having you guys to sort of bounce off and things like that. But we'll give it a go. That's what online learning's all about, giving things a go. So we'll give this thing a go. And we're up to chapter 19 of Holes. So we've read heaps, and we're just going to do a little bit of a recap from Mr. G, because I've read it about 12 times. So a bit of a recap of where we finished off, where we got up to, and how we finished off. So, as you know, Stanley was falsely accused of stealing those shoes from a famous baseball player called Sweet Feet, and he got sent to a place called Camp Green Lake. And his parents were really, really, really excited for him to go to a camp, because the rich people got to send their people to camp, so they thought it was going to be a fun camp. But as we know, the story starts off with a fantastic line: there is no lake at Camp Green Lake. So it's a place for boys. It's a juvenile centre, and they have to dig a hole a day that's 5 feet deep, 5 feet around as well. And it's a really, really hard place to be. I think in the shade, I think we figured out in class, it was like in the shade, it is about 40 degrees Celsius. So it's really, really harsh conditions to dig. And Stanley's there, and he's starting to make a few friends. He's got a nickname with his group called the Caveman. And he's just had an offer, or a request, I suppose, from Zero for him to teach, for Stanley to teach Zero to read. So there's all sorts going on. We know that Stanley's found a fossil that Mr. Mendansky thought was useless, so there was nothing to that story really. But then the next time Stanley found something, it was a gold tube with the initials KB on it, and we know that he gave that to Zigzag. Mr. G's having a bit of a brain freeze here, but it was one of the boys. I think it was Zigzag, because he's the leader of the crew. Or was it X-Ray? We'll figure it out again. But he gave it to him, and he got the rest of the day off. And then since then, we've met the warden, who is a female, and she is the lady who's like, excuse me. So she's tough as, but really, really calmly tough. And Mr. Sir and Mr. Pendansky is so scared of her as well, as are the boys. But we know that she started to get teams together of diggers, like all of them digging together and trying to find the rest of this, whatever they're looking for. So finding, digging, and so far they've found nothing, because we know that Stanley found that tube in a completely different area, in a completely different hole to where they've been digging these monstrous holes. So we're up to chapter 19. I finished off with Zero asking Stanley if he'd please teach him to read, and Stanley sort of told him where to go. No, I can't do it. He's too tired. He's grumpy. And his last line that I just reminded myself of was this. Oh, sorry, a couple of lines back, but it said, his muscles and hands weren't the only parts of his body that had toughened over the past several weeks. His heart had hardened as well. So he's starting to get a bit tougher mentally as well as physically when he's there. So that's my little recap of where we're up to in Holes. I'm going to stop this video now. I'm going to upload this. This will be the first summary of Holes version, and then the next version we do, it'll be a couple of chapters, and I'll just read a few chapters at a time. So hopefully you enjoy it. Hopefully everyone watches it, and I'd love to see some of our literacy circles worksheets done on this. Maybe you could summarise what I've read. Maybe you could do a Wordmaster for it, or Connector or something like that. But I'm sure you guys can figure it out. But really, it's just about me wanting to read my favourite ever book with my tremendous class. All right, see you in the next part.